Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Santa Barbara Metropolitan Transit District Board of Directors. I want to call the meeting to order. Unfortunately, I want to announce that we did have another loss of a family member in the MTD family this past week. Clarence Willis, who was a bus operator for the last 13 years with us. I'd like to take just a moment of silence for Clarence. Thank you all. It's always tough. He will be missed. Start with a roll call of the board members. Director Limburger.
Present.
Director Perotti.
Present.
Director McQuarrie.
Here.
Director Sheeler.
Present.
Director Tabor, Vice Chair Tabor.
Here.
And Chair Davis is here. For the record, please note that Director Dick Weinberg retired from the board during this past week. That takes us to item 3. This is the report regarding the posting of the agenda. Madam Clerk.
Good morning. The agenda was posted on March 27, 2021 at MTD's administrative office, mailed and emailed to those on the agenda list, and posted on MTD's website.
Thank you very much. Takes us to item 4, public comment. This is for anyone who wishes to speak on items not on today's agenda, but within the purview of the MTD. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone who wishes to speak under general public comment?
We do. I have the attendee listed as H. Green. I'm allowing him to talk now.
Okay, Mr. Green, you have 2 minutes. You want to unmute?
Thank you. I'm sorry. It took a moment. I'd like to comment on the plans.
Mr. Green, you are breaking up.
Some of the discontinued or suspended lines. 37 cross.
Mr. Green, you're breaking up very seriously. I don't think that we can hear you.
Let me come back.
We will try one more time with him. Sorry for the delay, everyone. Mr. Estrada, what would you like to do at this point?
I would suggest you continue this item maybe towards the end of the agenda and give them the opportunity to speak then.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move this item to the end of the agenda and we will come back and have general public comment again at the end of the agenda.
Noted.
Okay, that takes us to item 5. This is a recess to close session, real property negotiations pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8. The property is 4678 Calle Real and 149 North San Antonio Road. Agency negotiators are General Manager Jerry Estrada, the District Outside Counsel Graham Lyons. Negotiating parties are Comstock Homes, People Self-Help Housing Corporation, Chandler Partners, and Con-Am Group, Graystar Development West LLC, on the negotiation of the price and terms of payment. This is a closed session item. We will take public comment at the present time on this particular item. Before we go into closed session, we will come back out of closed session for a time certain at 9 a.m. At that point in time, we will take public comment again before the board deliberates relative to an action on this particular item. So, Madam Clerk, I'll ask at this point, is there public comment on this item?
I do have public comment on this item to read into record. I also see that Mr. H. Green has rejoined and has his hand up. Which would you like to address first?
Let's do Mr. Green, then we'll come back to you, see if he's reconnected.
Hello, I think I'm unmuted now. Is this a better connection?
Much better. Thank you very much.
I switched machines. Thank you.
Go ahead. Now, we've actually started the one item, but if you don't mind, I'll take your public comment for 2 minutes and then take any comments that you have on the Kyriel item also.
Well, my question basically was to address when service is going to be resumed on a service like the 37 Crosstown, the 10 Cathedral Oaks, and perhaps the waterfront. Even though State Street is closed, there's no reason not to have waterfront coverage. That's the general public comment.
Thank you very much for that. Okay, let's move on. Do you have any comment on item 5, the closed session on the real property negotiations, Kyriel?
Yes, I also have a comment there.
Go ahead, please.
The MTD has held that property for some number of years. It's in the material for today. There is a bus stop between for Route 7 on Kyriel. It's between the time point C, which is at the Public Health Service, and time point D, which is Turnpike. It's number 414, number on Route 7 outbound. I understand that the logical reason for no inbound stop there is because the area adjacent to 101 is undeveloped, no sidewalks and so forth, which might make it hazardous for handicap. I believe MTD, as part of this project, should consider immediately providing for a pad or whatever necessary improvements for an inbound stop. You have county people there, you have Fort Ranch people there. In other words, I'm suggesting that you start with the improvements on the 101 side in advance of any new development. It's normal, I think, for development to have to upgrade the opposite side of the street from their development. And the last comment, I will be sending some pictures to Mr. Estrada, but there is a walking path towards Turnpike from Fort Ranch, the condo development. I believe that that has been in existence for many years. I first had friends at Fort Ranch maybe 10 years ago, and the young people then had to walk over that path toward Turnpike to be able to take an inbound bus. So I'd like your staff to investigate, as part of this process, if there is an easement created by your failure to close that path for at least some period of time every year. That at least is the practice in New York State. I don't know what California's practice is on walking paths, but in the development, there should be facilities at least for people to be able to approach Turnpike without having to walk all the way over to San Antonio, down San Antonio, and then up Kyriel. Of course, if you have a stop akin or inbound from number 414, that would alleviate some of the problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Madam Clerk, you want to read the other comment that we had to be read into the record, please?
Yes, Chair Davis, I also see that Mr. Tom Elliott has joined us. The public comment that I have was from him and it was written. But if you agree, I can allow Mr. Elliott to talk.
Yeah, that would be fine. Please.
Mr. Elliott?
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can. Good morning, Mr. Elliott.
I would comment on that last gentleman's thing is that as far as we know, that easement through there is, it is an emergency exit from the Fort Ranch property, and it needs to be left open in your plan. So I think we've discussed this many times before, that is, has to be left open for us to have an emergency exit out of here. Well, I will read my statement that I sent in then. Okay, to the MTD board members and other interested parties, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Tom Elliott. I am the president of the Homeowners Association at Fort Ranch. Fort Ranch is a 137-unit condominium complex adjacent to the Calray MTD property. I've been watching the proposed development of the property for over 22 years. I was the secretary on the Goleta Valley Visioning Committee responsible for writing the Goleta Valley Community Plan for the unincorporated area. In that planning process, there was a great deal of discussion about the development of the MTD property. The final approved plan called for a total of 227 units on the property. I know that the previous proposals included 275 rental units. As a homeowner at Fort Ranch and association president, I'm generally concerned that the total number of units does not increase in any new proposals. As I've stated before, I'm willing to meet with MTD and development representatives to discuss proposals and answer any questions about the property and concerns of the Fort Ranch residents. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the MTD board for taking such good care of the property over the last 22 years, and to Jerry Estrada for keeping me well informed about the proposed development of the property. That's all I really had to say today. You all know me, I've been there many times, and you know our concern as being neighbors, and you've always been good neighbors. We try to be good neighbors. I'm sure we'll work something out in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott. Thank you for your engagement over the years. And yes, we look forward to working with you as we go forward with this endeavor. Hey, Madam Clerk, is there any other comment at this time on the item?
There is no further public comment on this item.
Okay, we will stand in recess to close session. We have a time certain at 9 o'clock. My guess is we're probably going to run over that a little bit. I would estimate it to be about 9:15 that we'll probably be back in here for the 9 o'clock item. Okay, Mr. Estrada, we will need to close this session and go to closed session. So I'll turn that back to the